So today here we are going to talk about the OpenAI API. I don't know whether it's something you're familiar with, you've been working with it.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to work with it. I have been a bit held up by work. Yeah, but I thought it's a good idea. I join and see.
So I'm very glad you've joined. So it'll just be a discussion. We can go back and forth. I'm just going to walk you through the why this is important and how it's going to be very valuable to you, right?
Yes, yes.
So, okay. So just to start, this is called the OpenAI Developer Platform or even the OpenAI API.
Okay.
Now, if you would like to integrate things like AI features in your application, things like text generation, vision, function calling, or even things like assistance,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best ways to do it is to use this what we call the OpenAI API. So nowadays, you're usually developing using you develop using your front end language and your back end language. But if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to add more features like like if you wanted to add intelligence into your product, how would you begin doing that? And this is one way to do it. It's very easy, and which is why I wanted us to talk about this.
Okay. Okay.
So let me just start. I'm going to go through a few of the models to explain what this all means. So first of all, it's very easy to use this OpenAI API. Depending on which language you're using, you can use pretty much anything. They even have a REST API. You can use Node.js. They have libraries.
Mm-hmm.
But the main idea is that they provide models. So they provide intelligence. So they have a different models that do different things. And depending on your use case, depending on the application that you have, you can decide which model that you want to use. And to me, this is some of the most valuable technology online, and it's available for any developer to use. So, do you use ChatGPT, for example, for when you're doing,
Yeah, yeah. I use ChatGPT a lot.
or what do you use it for usually?
Well, mostly it's say for example, I usually deal with a lot of SQLs. So whenever I get complex SQL statements that I would want maybe help in finding out quickly what the SQL is supposed to do and maybe making different changes, so I use it.
Or for programming, right?
Yes, yes.
What do you think? It makes you much more productive, right?
Yes, yes. Plus, it sort of gives insights into queries that I am not familiar with, or I would want to break down into smaller queries, or even optimize in some cases.
Yeah, exactly. Even for me, I use it all the time when I'm also doing programming, things like that. I use it for, brainstorming, and it's very good for that.
Yeah.
And the same company that builds ChatGPT also provides that same intelligence as an API, meaning that if you wanted to build your own version of ChatGPT, if you wanted a
Mhm,
chatbot, if you wanted to
mhm.
do some intelligent stuff in your app, they
Yeah.
provide an API that you can use in your app to do that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so here are some of their models. Let me go through some of them so you can see what they do.
Yeah.
So this one called GPT-4o and GPT-4o Mini. So O is for Omni, meaning that it takes in more than text. It
Mm-hmm.
does voice and images as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have other models. For example, DALI here is if you want to generate an image, like if you want to give a text, like you say a sunset, and then it generates an image, you can
Mm-hmm.
use DALI for that.
Yeah.
They have models that can help you to convert text into audio. So if you have a text and you want it to be realistic, like maybe you have a customer care and you want it to read something, you can use this one.
Mm-hmm.
They have an amazing one called Whisper. So if you have audio and then you want it to convert to text, so if you want your customer to be able to speak to your app and then you understand what they're saying, you can use
Yeah.
this one. Yeah, then they have a few others. What do you think so far in general? What's your general opinion?
Well, first of all, I'm fascinated by the different models. And I think one of the things that I am actually looking into is being able to integrate these models into applications. Right now, I'm working in the fintech world, and I think these models are going to help me a lot in coming up with different solutions for customers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially in fintech, I think there's many applications. So if you like started studying these models, you could become one of the, I don't think many people are actually understand how powerful this technology is.
Yeah,
So if you combine some of this stuff with fintech, I think you could come up with something very interesting, depending
yeah,
on the idea that you have.
yeah,
Yeah, so okay, so those are some of the models, but now we can go, a bit deeper into what the models do, and
yeah.
everything that they provide here is very easy to use. Actually, I have been using these APIs myself for a few years now, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had a very good experience. And also, when it comes to cost, I know that they put some cost here. From my experience, it's extremely cheap. You're actually going to have a huge problem spending even $10 if you're doing your initial testing, because
Uh-huh.
the prices I've been getting since I've been using them for a few years, they've
Mm-hmm.
gone down almost 90%.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, so they're always getting cheaper, these APIs. So you don't even have to worry that you're going to spend that much. You
okay.
can just test. Even $10 will be difficult to spend.
Okay. I know.
Okay. So now let's talk about the specific capabilities. So they have one here called chat completions.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially an API like this. Let's see if we
Mm-hmm.
can do a call.
Um,
So yeah,
is it possible to maybe do Java?
or
Uh,
Java. Let's see.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
these three. Which one are you familiar with?
I'm familiar with Java.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They only have these, but don't worry. Even I'll just walk through what this means then, and then
Okay.
yeah, no problem. So it's just a simple endpoint like this. Like you just put it the word completions. Then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, once you register for your on OpenAI, that on your
Mm-hmm.
for your account, they're going to give you an API key. So
Yeah.
all you have to do when you can try this on what's it called, Postman.
Yeah.
So imagine you just put your API key here, and then you just say you give it the model. Then you can now set up your own assistant via API. You just tell it you are a helpful assistant, and then you can start sending it questions, and it's going to return a response for you. So that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very simple. And look, with this, you've just added all this intelligence from GPT-4 or Mini into your
Mm-hmm.
application, meaning that now your users have access to that knowledge.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, and now let me show you another one. So let's say you have an app and then you
Mm-hmm.
want to create an image.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to generate a profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been very difficult for you to do that. But now what they do is they have this request you can make with to the endpoint of generations, image plus generations. You put your API key, and then
Mm-hmm.
you tell it, you just say what you want in terms of what you want to see, and then it's going to generate using this AI called
Yeah.
DALI. It's going to generate an image of this, of this size basically for you, and then it gives you back that image, and you can show it back to your user. So your user can say that, or you can tell you can say, "Show me a white Siamese cat," and then it will return
Mm-hmm.
to you an image of that cat.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see here another one. So then there is text to speech.
Mm-hmm.
So have you tried the ChatGPT voice mode?
No, not yet.
Oh, no problem. So they have this on the ChatGPT app on your
Mm-hmm.
Android or iOS. It's possible for you to be able to talk to the AI, and
Mm-hmm.
they allow you as a developer. You can also add this AI into your app. So this is an example. You can
Mm-hmm.
listen to an example voice.
The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. This simple fact has been observed by humans for thousands of years.
So that's an example of a voice. Let's say you have a blog or you even have a podcast or something. You want to translate it into a different language.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible for you to use this AI for that. And you can do it also using the API. You just
Mm-hmm.
say audio, speech, you say the model, and then you
Mm-hmm.
basically give it your MP3 file of your speech recording, and it'll return. Sorry, you give it the words that you want, and then it'll return an output, which is an MP3 file. So you give it text, it returns an MP3 file of audio.
Yeah. Hey, this is quite simple.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's very simple to use, but it's also very powerful because if, as you can hear,
The sun
Yeah.
rises in the east and sets in the west. This simple fact has been observed by humans for thousands of years.
yeah, the voice is it's relatively realistic, but there are even more realistic voices. Let's
The
see here.
train chugged along the tracks, carrying passengers to their destination.
In the kitchen, the aroma of freshly baked bread filled the air.
Yeah, so you can imagine how apps can start to have these realistic voices. and
Yeah,
games.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay. So you've seen you can even stream. It doesn't have to happen where you just send a file. It can try to happen immediately where you're streaming back the responses to the user.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen we can convert, we can generate text. I missed one here called vision. Vision is very, very important because it allows you to now analyze images, meaning that if you've taken an image of something, let's say a kitchen, you can ask the AI what is in this image. So, for example, for fintech, imagine you this idea to scan through an image of a document, or for you to
Yeah.
extract data. You can do mathematics on it or something, analysis. So it
Yeah.
allows you to do that in a way that wasn't really possible before, because this is the best, some of the highest intelligence AI that's available on the market. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a use case for that is when taking user KYC, you just require them to upload the ID, and then you can literally, first of all, make sure that's a valid ID, and you can be able to now get the data without them typing in the data.
Actually, you've mentioned a very, very important use case, and actually, that's a huge opportunity. You see, that's one use case where for KYC, traditionally, the guys that were detect was scanning through those documents like IDs were limited in some way, or were not, there weren't such high intelligence AIs. But if you
Yeah.
put an ID through this, it can actually return to you the name, and even nuances of the image itself. It can give you all the text. It can tell you whether it looks real, whether it looks fake, compared to other AIs, which are mostly scanning for the text on the image and not looking at the image itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, that's cool. So this one, you can ask it many more questions about those documents. Where do you think it's from? Is it from which country? Does it look legitimate? Is it war, or something like that? So you can imagine there's so much you can do here around KYC, even what's fraud detection and stuff like that. Processing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that is vision. Okay.
Yeah, that's vision.
Yeah.
But they also have something called function calling. This one is a bit more complex, but it essentially means that instead of getting back, so you see here, I don't know whether it works the same way, but let me just give you an example. So you see here, you say what is in this image, and then it will return to you a text saying, in this image is a cat, maybe, right? Sometimes you want that response to be in JSON format, like you want it to come back in a structured way, so that you can you don't need to pass the response. You essentially get it back like as if it came like an API call instead of a thing. Yeah, so you just take it and ingest it into your code directly instead of having to pass it yourself.
This one I think I need to check more on how I can marry the two, vision and function.
Yeah, vision, function. What else? Text generation. You can generate, can draft documents.
Yeah.
But I just want to bring it now that they've taken all of those. And by the way, there's other things you can do as well. If you want to fine tune, if you want to speech to text, we've seen that one, generation, image, moderation. But the important one I want to highlight for you is now that the past few years they've been working on these, but then they kind of combined them into something, the assistance API. Now this one is the cool one. I think this one is the most powerful one that's available here. And the reason this is so powerful is because it actually, they've even given a fintech example. So it's actually kind of a bot or an assistant that you can access through the API. So it actually combines some of these and then just an assistant that you can use directly. Yeah, so it's an assistant. You give it instructions and then you can chat with it, and then it can basically do the thing that you wanted it to do. It can have data, it can look for tools, like it can search for files, it can analyze code, it can write code. It can also do the function calling for you, custom functions. Yeah, that's just the initial overview of the tools. I'm going to show you a bit more so you can see for yourself. But what do you think so far in general? What's your general impression? I know this is one of maybe the first time you're going through some of these ideas. What do you think?
Well, over the recent past, I have been looking for an AI that will enable me to learn and become a better communicator, because I noticed I am a bit introverted, so I usually don't communicate a lot. So I usually find that whenever I have to communicate, I'm finding myself in situations where I sort of lose words. So I thought I could maybe find an AI that listens to, asks me questions, listens to how I respond, then helps me better my responses. So at least with the basic conversation we have had, I have identified that I could be inputting my voice, capturing my voice as I speak, uh, give calls the API, and then now the API is going to sort of be able to analyze my speech, enable me to find out how I can answer better, where I'm making different errors, and be able, like, basically to help me become a better communicator. So yeah, it's awesome. Definitely going to look into all these specific components. And yeah, I am fascinated by this assistant, because now I can be able to do literally everything in one place.
Yeah, I love that. And I like that you're already thinking of use cases and you're already seeing how useful this can be. Like if you want to do, for example, you want to learn more about communication. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
a problem many people have.
Yeah.
I've had it in the past as well. I know it's easy to be anxious when you're communicating and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good that you're thinking about these use cases. And as
Yeah.
soon as you start, and the important thing is in the world that we're going into, people who understand how to use AI,
Mhm.
I feel the developers who are going to be able to survive what's coming, basically, in terms of because as you can see, this AI can do a lot, and
Mhm.
including it can code, it can come up with ideas, and
Mhm.
now there's even assistance. So the developers who understand how to use these tools are the ones who are now building
Yeah.
next generation of apps
Yeah.
that we're going to be seeing on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they also have something here called a playground. So as we've seen the documentation, if you want to
Mhm.
go deeper into the APIs, they have something called an API reference that
Yeah.
shows you how to specifically integrate all the separate APIs. And
Okay.
by the way, you mentioned Java earlier.
Mhm.
So something I do, I'm not like specialized in Java, for example. Okay, I know Java, but
Mhm.
nowadays it's possible to use ChatGPT the same way you said you're using it for SQL.
Yeah.
I also use it a lot for what I do normally. So if I don't understand a language, I usually just tell ChatGPT to either convert it or
Mhm.
explain it to me. So nowadays you don't even need to know a specific language. So even the
Yeah.
things I'm saying, even with Python, you can just paste this in ChatGPT, and then
Yeah.
it'll convert it into anything that you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine, but this is just the API reference. But now let's go to the playground. So they provide you with a way for you to interact with the models on the website directly if you wanted.
Mhm.
So this is a system. Let's give me an idea. Let's come up with a bot. What would be an interesting bot that you would want to create? You can give it
Uh, we could go with the KYC one.
a KYC. KYC. Okay, this one. Okay, we'll be able to give it images.
Yeah.
Bot for scanning national IDs.
Yeah.
IDs. Do we make it a specific from Kenya or something for specific?
Yeah. We could go with specific ones.
So I've given it the instruction. I've pressed, now let me say, enter the user message, hello. Now we're talking to, we've given it what it's supposed to be doing, and we've selected the model here. We've said we want GPT-4o. This is the high intelligence.
Okay.
So, hello, how can I assist you? So I've said, so it asks me, how can I assist? Are you looking for information implementing a KYC bot to scan Kenya? Or do you have another question in mind? So let me tell it, ask for an input of a Kenyan national ID and then extract information and say whether it's a valid ID or not.
Yeah.
Focus on this only. Focus on this only. So I've changed the instructions there. Now let me delete this this one and then run that. Hello. So now I've told you to be more specific. Now it will say, hello, I am a KYC bot specializing in analyzing Kenya national IDs. Please provide the ID number. Oh, let me say ID national.
National
Image. Image. From the
give me a minute. Give me a minute. There's someone at the door.
Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, so hello. Then okay. You can tell me when you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, so oh good. So look, so now I've changed the instructions. I've told it to focus on images. So now look, it's saying welcome. Please upload an image of a Kenyan national ID to succeed. So now you know it's looking for an image. So now I want to give it an image. Let me search for Kenyan national ID images on Google Images. Then I'll upload a Kenyan one and an Ethiopian one. Then we'll see whether it will be able to tell us the difference.
Right.
Hello, I can help you with scanning and verifying Kenyan national ID. Please upload an image of the national ID for analysis. So you have to realize I haven't trained this software to do this. All I did was I told it what to do, you see.
Yeah.
So now let's see whether it'll actually be able to get, scan the nuances. And I'm going to give it some images.
Okay.
These ones I've downloaded from, so I'm going to start with an Ethiopian one. And then let's see what it's going to say. So this one is Ethiopian. Let me show you. Yeah, look. So it seems you have uploaded an image of an Ethiopian digital ID card, not a Kenyan ID, for proper analysis, you see. So it's blocked, that one.
Yeah.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
And then let me show you now. Let's do a Kenyan one, which is blood. So this one is more blurry. It's not very
Okay.
accurate.
Yeah.
As you can see here, it's more blurry.
Yeah.
So let's see. So it says, thank you for uploading. Now it knows it's a Kenyan one. I will extract information from the ID. So it's looking for the serial number. It can't find ID number. It can't find anything. Given that some of the details are obscured, I encourage you to provide a clearer image.
Yeah.
You see, please provide a clearer image.
Yeah.
And then finally, let's do a valid ID number. So here it is, our last image. Thank you for providing a clearer image. And then it extracts all the information. So check this out. The serial number, ID number, full names, date of birth, male, district of birth, place of birth, signature is present. It tells you whether it's whether it's valid.
Yeah.
So let's look here. I don't know whether I can. Okay, I can't zoom into. Yeah. So 2287887119. You see, and then 2479840. Imagine 1 second we've built an extremely valuable KYC thing, and this one, imagine all you have to tell, apply for any country.
Yeah.
Country in the world. Like if you change some of these details, basically, not make it Kenyan, but you can now make it so that it can verify any ID that you give it and tell you whether, and extract information from that ID, tell you which country it's from. Actually, let me do this. A national ID. National IDs. Let me delete this. Let's just try whether it will be able to also tell us the country and which country it's from. And okay, so let's try now one last demo. Okay, now upload an image. So let's just upload the valid one.
Yeah.
Let me just see if I can do all three of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So run. Let's just see what it'll say.
Yeah.
So here it is. So now it knows, and you've seen I've shared several IDs, right? So it can
Yeah.
analyze several simultaneously as well.
Ah,
So you can analyze the front and the back at the same time,
mhm.
and also the profile picture of something and compare the two. So imagine you now give it the profile picture,
Yeah.
ID front and the ID back. So it gives, yeah. So this one analyzes the valid one,
Mhm.
and then it's, let's see, Kenyan ID, national ID, image 3 same as 1, blood image unable to. Oh, it says this one is correctly the same as the first one. I was worried
Yeah.
about it, didn't analyze it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this one it says it was blood, which is correct, and then this one it said it was an Ethiopian one, and then it just extracted the test information. So as
Yeah.
you can see, yeah, and it's correct. It says, because here it's test.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see, the thing I'm showing you now is I don't know if it happens, if it hasn't been implemented yet, it's going to be implemented very soon in some apps. So it's something you can also take advantage of now that you know how to build it, and many other things, not just this. You can tell
Yeah.
it to do anything. Yeah.
Okay, now I have a question regarding data privacy.
Yeah.
So now, since my plan is actually to apply this in a financial app,
Yeah.
would it bring issues about data privacy?
So that's a very good question, and the answer is that OpenAI never trains any of their AIs on this
Mhm.
data. So it's possible for you to use this commercially, and OpenAI will not train
Mhm.
their models on this data. So you can basically rest assured or something like that. Uh,
Mhm.
they do train on the ChatGPT, app itself. They train
Mhm.
the information, but for this one they don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a lot of use cases for this, especially document scanning and analysis.
Mm.
Yeah, and the fact that it's literally instant,
Yeah.
that makes it more powerful.
Yeah, and it's extremely powerful. Even me, this is the first time I'm doing this with you right now, so it's blowing my mind as well, because I've made some of these apps and I know how difficult it was to do KYC, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is like cutting edge technology, and it's now available, which is why I wanted to host this hackathon so that people can start learning about this and using it.
Yeah, because definitely I had the idea of doing it, and for some reason I didn't actually check this out. But now seeing it in action makes me wonder why I didn't even check it earlier.
Yeah, so don't worry, it's all here, and you can actually implement this in 5 minutes pretty much, because the document is very easy to use. If you just know how to make an API call, even in Java,
Yeah, yeah.
everything will be done for you. Let's see here if there's any last. Yeah, so that's just a chart. You can come here, and also if you want to get deeper into the AI and customize it a bit more, there's some more variables here if you want to learn about what some of these does.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
you can also create assistants if you wanted. So you can come here and create something more, more robust,
Mhm.
which is like a chatbot. So this is even more advanced. Imagine instead of using just the chat back and forth like this one, you
Mhm.
create an actual assistant, meaning you can give that assistant files.
Mhm.
Imagine in your app, it can take files which contain even more data. It can
Mhm.
write code. It can do
Mhm.
functions, and you can customize it even more. So an assistant is better even than using a chat, even
Yeah.
more powerful. And then also the cool thing about assistants is
Mhm.
OpenAI keeps track of the chat for you. You don't have to do it yourself, because here usually you have to do it yourself. But an assistant, everything
Mhm.
is packed in together, meaning it contains its own threads. It can
Mhm.
run on its own,
Mhm.
things like that. It's a powerful system, and you can just see everything here yourself in the logs.
Ah, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, so I know it's a lot, but don't worry. Not that
Eh,
now that you know
How
in general,
come,
yeah,
considering I have interacted with ChatGPT,
yeah.
and for some reason I didn't think it would be this capable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is awesome.
So here's the thing. Like right now, you can get ahead of 99% of developers and start you can create new companies. You
Yeah.
can create apps that have never been possible before. Like this opens up a whole new generation of apps that now is the time to start thinking about these ideas, because now
Yeah.
you can start a company that no one else has ever thought about.
Yeah, true, true.
Sawa. Thank you for attending. Also, by the way, are you participating in the hackathon?
I will check the dates, see if I can be able to come up with something. Yeah, but this definitely makes me more interested in the OpenAI.
So even if you do a project for 5 minutes, please present something. I will appreciate.
I will.
Yeah, anything, even if it's basic. I want like these prizes to be given.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So then, so thanks a lot. Do you have any questions or anything you're interested in learning about? Anything?
I think I will first go through it first, then see, because definitely, of course, I have questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, no problem. Again, I really appreciate that you joined. This has been awesome, and we will chat in the group.
Yes.
So thanks. I'll see you. Have a great evening.
You too. I really appreciate. I know it was less than probably 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, but at least you have given a perfect overview of everything. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot as well. Bye.